126th birth anniversary of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose on 23rd January 2022 is a time for celebrating the life of a man who dedicated himself to the struggle for freedom for India from British imperialism. That is the time to retrospect where India stands today in the light of what Netaji had envisioned for free India. He had famously said, "I want not only political freedom but also social and economic freedom." Netaji's vision of India was one where all of its many varied communities will avail basic human rights, good health, literacy, decent employment, and live together in peace and harmony. Subhash Chandra Bose is an Indian nationalist prominent in the independence movement against the British rule in India. He also led an Indian national force known as the Azad Hind Fauj from abroad against Western powers during the Second World War, along with the support of Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan. He was a contemporary of Gandhiji, at times an ally and at other times an adversary. Bose, known as Netaji, was known in particular for his militant approach to independence and for his push for socialist policies. The honorific Netaji was first applied to Bose in Germany in early 1942 by the Indian soldiers of the Azad Hind Fauj and by the German and Indian officials in the Special Bureau for India in Berlin. Subhash Chandra Bose was born to Prabhavati Bose and Janki Nath Bose on 23rd January 1897 in Cuttack, Odisha, the son of a wealthy and prominent Bengali lawyer. Eager to join his 5 school-going elder brothers, Subhash entered the Baptist Mission's Protestant European School in Cuttack in January 1902. In 1909, the 12-year-old Subhash Bose followed his 5 brothers to the Ravensa Collegiate School in Cuttack. He studied at the Presidency College, Calcutta, from which he was expelled in 1916 for nationalist activities, and graduating in 1919 from Scottish Churches College, Calcutta. He then was sent by his parents to the University of Cambridge in England to prepare for the Indian Civil Service. In 1920, he passed the Civil Service examination, but in April 1921, after hearing of the nationalist turmoils in India, he resigned his candidacy and hurried back to India. Throughout his career, especially in its early stage, he was supported financially and emotionally by an elder brother, Sarat Chandra Bose, a wealthy Calcutta lawyer and an Indian National Congress politician.
Going to be free. Our struggle is no doubt a non-violent struggle. But even a non-violent struggle demands an army, an organization, and a machinery.
Netaji joined the non-corporation movement started by Gandhiji, who had made the Indian National Congress a powerful non-violent organization. He was advised by Gandhiji to work under Chittaranjan Das, a prominent politician in Bengal. There, Netaji became a youth educator, journalist, and commandant of the Bengal Congress Volunteers. His activities led to his imprisonment in December 1921. In 1924, he was appointed Chief Executive Officer of the Calcutta Municipal Corporation with Chittaranjan Das as the mayor. Netaji was soon after deported to Burma, which is now Myanmar, because he was suspected of connections with secret revolutionary movements. Released in 1927, he returned to find Bengal Congress affairs in disarray after the death of Chittaranjan Das, and Netaji was elected President of Bengal Congress. Shortly thereafter, he and Jawaharlal Nehru became the 2 General Secretaries of the Indian National Congress. Together, they represented the more militant, left-wing faction of the party against the more compromising, right-wing Gandhian faction. Local support for Gandhiji increased within the Indian National Congress. Meanwhile, and in light of this, Gandhiji resumed a more commanding role in the party. When the civil disobedience movement was started in 1930, Netaji was already in detention for his associations with an underground revolutionary group, the Bengal Volunteers. Nevertheless, he was elected mayor of Calcutta while in prison, released and then re-arrested several times for his suspected role in violent acts. Bose was finally allowed to proceed to Europe after he contracted tuberculosis and was released for ill health. During his visit to Europe, he met many Indian students and European politicians, including Benito Mussolini, the former Prime Minister of Italy. He observed party organization and saw communism and fascism in action. It was during this period, while in Vienna, he met Emily Skenkel and later married her. In this period, he also researched and wrote the first part of his book, The Indian Struggle, which covered the country's independence movement in the years 1920 to 1934. Although it was published in London in 1935, the British government banned the book in the colony out of fear that it would encourage unrest. He returned from Europe in 1936 and was taken into custody and was released after a year. Meanwhile, Bose became increasingly critical of Gandhiji's more conservative economics as well as his less confrontational approach towards independence. In 1938, he was elected President of the Indian National Congress and formed a National Planning Committee, which formulated a policy of broad industrialization. However, this did not harmonize with Gandhian economic thought, which clung to the notion of cottage industries and benefiting from the use of country's own resources. Netaji's vindication came in 1939 when he defeated a Gandhian rival for re-election. Nonetheless, the rebel president felt bound to resign because of the lack of Gandhiji's support. He founded the Forward Bloc, hoping to rally radical elements, but was again incarcerated in July 1940. His refusal to remain in prison at this critical period of India's history was expressed in a determination to fast to death, which frightened the British government into releasing him. Netaji's arrest and subsequent release set the scene for his escape to Germany via Afghanistan and the Soviet Union. A few days before his escape, he sought solitude and, on this pretext, avoided meeting British guards and grew a beard. On 16 January 1941, the night of his escape, he dressed as a Pathan to avoid being identified. He escaped from under British surveillance from his Elgin Road house in Calcutta on the night of 17 January 1941, accompanied by his nephew Sisir Kumar Bose, later reaching Gomoh railway station, now Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Gomoh station, in the then state of Bihar, now Jharkhand. He travelled to Peshawar with the help of Abwehr, the German military intelligence service, where he was met by Akbar Shah, Muhammad Shah and Bhagat Ram Talwar. Netaji was taken to Abad Khan, a trusted friend of Akbar Shah. On 26 January 1941, Netaji began his journey to reach Russia through British India's northwest frontier with Afghanistan. For this, he took the help of Mian Akbar Shah, then a forward bloc leader in the northwest frontier province. Akbar Shah had been out of India to the Soviet Union and suggested a novel disguise for Netaji to assume. As he could not speak one word of Pashto, it would make him an easy target of Pashto speakers working for the British. So Akbar Shah suggested that Netaji act deaf and dumb and let his beard grow to mimic those of the tribesmen. Netaji's guide, Bhagat Ram Talwar, unknown to him, was a Soviet agent. After assuming the disguise of a Pashtun insurance agent, Ziauddin, to reach Afghanistan, Netaji changed his guise and travelled to Moscow on the Italian passport of an Italian nobleman, Count Orlando Mazzotta. From Moscow, he reached Rome, and from there, he travelled to Germany. In Nazi Germany, Netaji came under the tutelage of a newly created Special Bureau for India, guided by Adam von Trott-Zussholz. A little more than a year after the Japanese invasion of Southeast Asia, Netaji left Germany, travelling by German and Japanese submarines and by plane, and arrived in May 1943 in Tokyo. On 4th of July, he assumed leadership of the Indian independence movement in East Asia and proceeded, with Japanese aid and influence, to form a trained army of about 40,000 troops in Japanese-occupied Southeast Asia. On 21st October 1943, Netaji proclaimed the establishment of a provisional independent Indian government and his Indian National Army, or the Azad Hind Fauj, alongside Japanese troops, advanced to Rangoon and thence overland into India, reaching Indian soil on 18th March 1944 and moving into Kohima and the plains of Imphal. In a stubborn battle, the mixed Indian and Japanese forces, lacking Japanese air support, were defeated and forced to retreat. The Indian National Army, nevertheless, for some time succeeded in maintaining its identity as a liberation army based in Burma and then Indochina. With the defeat of Japan, however, Netaji's fortunes ended. In the final battle for Indian independence, fought on the Indo-Burma frontier during 1943 to 1944, Netaji, as the head of the provisional government of Azad Hind and the Supreme Commander of the Indian National Army, demonstrated how Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, and Christians could all unite under one banner and one slogan: unity, faith, and sacrifice. In the consensus of scholarly opinion, Subhash Chandra Bose's death occurred from third-degree burns on 18th August 1945 after his overloaded Japanese plane crashed in Japanese-ruled Formosa, which is now Taiwan. However, many among his supporters, especially in Bengal, refused at the time and have refused since to believe either the fact or the circumstances of his death. Conspiracy theories appeared within hours of his death and have thereafter had a long shelf life, keeping alive various myths about Netaji. Although it was believed that Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose died in a plane crash, his body was never recovered. There have been many theories put forward regarding his disappearance. The Government of India set up a number of committees to investigate the case and come out with truth. In May 1956, the Shahnawaz Committee visited Japan to look into the situation of Netaji's assumed death. Citing their lack of political relations with Taiwan, the center did not seek assistance from their government. The reports of Justice Mukherjee's commission, tabled in Parliament on 17 May 2006, said Bose did not die in the plane crash and the ashes at Trikonji temple are not his. However, the findings were rejected by the Government of India. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose was a great freedom fighter who rebelled against the British and did his part to help India achieve independence. His undeterred attitude and resolution to make India free still inspires many. Therefore, to honor his contribution to India's struggle for independence, Subhash Chandra Bose's birthday is celebrated across various parts of the country on 23rd January every year as Parakram Divas. Netaji was featured on the stamps in India from 1964, 1993, 1997, 2001, 2016 and 2018. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose International Airport at Kolkata, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Island, formerly Ross Island, and many other institutions in India are named after him. Ahead of Netaji's 126th birth anniversary, Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced that a statue will be installed at India Gate to honor his contribution to the independence movement. The best tribute to this man of destiny on his birth anniversary will be to rededicate ourselves to building India in the image that he envisioned and worked for throughout his life.